A lot of y'all won't miss an opportunity to turn some news into propaganda. And while I do think this is worthy of noting, right, that no rap song has appeared in the top 40 on the Hot 100 for the first time since February 1990, right, I want to make sure that you guys understand this speaks mostly to the commercial health of the genre, right? That's what this really speaks to. Anytime we're talking about Hot 100 or we're talking about Top 200, we're talking about how well songs are performing commercially. But the commercial success isn't the only thing that speaks to the health of the genre overall. Now, let's talk about that. When time you hear commercial success, commercial, you want to think of money. So let's go through the reasons why I think this actually happened. And I think it's only going to last about a week because I believe Megan's record, Lover Girl, is going to debut in the top 40. I'm going to double check that, but I believe that's going to happen. So number one is the record labels. Okay, so while I do understand that everybody likes their faves and thinks their fave makes things shake, and listen, when it comes to commercial performance, commercial success, what is happening with the record labels? And as you can see, if you haven't noticed, you should notice for a while now, record labels have decided to start shifting their focus from hip hop to other genres. Okay, there's been restructuring record labels that should show you this. There's been news and information coming out from record labels that has hinted at this. There's less investment going into the hip hop genre. And it's not unique to hip hop that has went through this. This is pretty much a cycle that you see in about 15 to 30 years in that range where record labels are like, okay, have we milked everything out of this cow? Okay, let's invest and put our focus into other things that might have the attention of the youth. So that's number one. And speaking of the youth, number two, I will admit that we do have a sequence right now of younger artists who aren't particularly going through what a lot of the older artists went through when the record labels were actively involved, right? So whether it's because they're lacking star power, they're not getting the development, the artist development that they need, and also because their focus is on a lot of other things that could bring them money and a lot of fame. There's a lot more distractions. TikTok. If I'm a good, really good young rapper, yeah, I could try to hunker down and become the next Drake and the next J. Cole and the next Kendrick and the next Nicki Minaj and the next Wale and the Meek Mill. But what kind of environment is being cultivated right now for me? Right? To become a mega global superstar rapper that's crunching out hits. Am I better off just becoming a TikTok star and getting on Twitch and becoming the next Kai Cenat? So you get that. The youth itself, lack of artist development, and also the ones that are actually popping, they've moved into kind of different avenues of being content creators and rappers at the same time, and also the ones that are kind of bubbling, they push their records in certain platforms that may not necessarily have the most weight on a Hot 100, right? They're really more popping in, TikTok space. Even some people on YouTube. YouTube does count towards streams, but doesn't hold as much weight, all right? So that's number two. Number three is pretty much Billboard rules. This part is actually very important. So while we're not getting as much content from every single MC that could, potentially be a commercial success, I will admit that the ones that we did get, Billboard recently changed its recurrent rules in that certain records, after a certain amount of weeks, if they're not hitting a certain number, they are to fall off the Billboard Hot 100. They changed it and made it even stricter. It's even more strict now, right? In which you had records like Luther, which was carrying for a while, that kind of dropped off. I thought that was R&B, but whatever. And so you see that. Even Drake with Nokia record, which I know is a lot older, but I remember that record falling off, which was one of his strongest records, just simply because it did not maintain a certain position. So Billboard is like, nah, we got to take this off. So that changed, right? And last but not least, to my first point, a lot of you guys are talking about the rap beef, not rap beef. I want to show you something, okay? If anything, the goddamn rap beef helped. Shout out to the user that pointed this. We had a similar news in 2023, right? Where no hip-hop album or single reached the number one on Billboard that year. It was about June. So that was like the longest into a calendar year without a rap album at number one, this century, since 1993. So about the same, right? Yeah, right? 1990, 1993. So you see that 30-year drop. And then 2024 was in which the numbers for hip-hop kind of peaked up a little bit because of the beef, right? So a lot of people try to make this about, oh, you try to take this guy down, and then it's like, no, Drake specifically is the people are pointing to, has been active, is active. He's in the middle of a rollout. A lot of people are not remembering that. That's kind of weird. So it's all right. He recently had a song drop, weeks ago in Doghouse, which is not on the top 100. So, when he has a record that I think does pretty well, it will stick. This is a conversation about the entire genre, commercial success, but we've had a lot of albums and a lot of records that are not as commercially viable. They're came out this year that are amazing, right? You got the Pusher and Malice project, Let God Send Them Out, amazing records. You got the Chance project. A lot of people, I don't love the Freddie Grizz, a lot of people love that record, and I can hear it, sonically, I can see why people like it, but Freddie is Freddie for me, right? So we've gotten a lot of records, right? We got records from Mass Appeal. We got, records that are going to be coming out soon. This is commercial success. And if money ain't been pumped into shit and you don't have people with star power that can kind of, make up for less money that are young, coming in, it's going to be tough. Look at someone like NBA Youngboy, who I think is like the voice of the youth. A lot of kids listen to stuff from YouTube. When's the last charting song you can think of from NBA Youngboy? Right? He's just not the same as the guys we knew for the blog era. He does a different type of thing. He makes different type of music. Whether it's turn up or not, but that doesn't always mean it's commercially viable. Make sense? All right, good. Any questions, let me know, but y'all got to cut it out with the propaganda.